Hey, everybody. Guys, tell me in the comments, for goodness sake, what is the deal with the internet? Could somebody please break that down for me? You all. Tell me in the comments loud and clear if the broadcast is loud and clear. Guys, I hope you guys don't get tired of me asking you that. Until we get Elon Musk's super fast internet. I mean, I love MTN. I've got the 5G thing. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. That's just the way that it is. So, sometimes it gives me good reception, other times it doesn't do it as good as it should. So tell me in the comments, guys, very quickly. Let me say hi to you guys. And somebody says you're loud and clear. It's a few minutes before the news, as is my custom. If you've never been here before, I welcome you tonight. I usually jump on here right before I go home, and I give you my 2 cents worth right before the news. So I'm going to need at least 12 to 13 minutes of your time. Guys, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. This is something that I think all of us need to have a conversation about, only because it's very important. It's it's isn't it strange and interesting that aid, in my language, we say "uwafundisho." Aid has now become an entrenched part of the African development landscape. In other words, at a national level, we as a country ask these foreign countries to help us service our debt, help us develop our country. So we ask for aid at a national level. And if we're doing it at this high level, can you imagine what's happening down here below to the average citizen? If the nation is begging, it means the average citizenry is doing the same. This is the reason when you walk down Cairo Road and Lumumba Road, you consistently hear this phrase, "Nderumba bwafuyisho, mbereko ya transport, chikwete ya kulya." You hear that constantly because we are to a degree, we are locked in this poverty mindset. And it's really it's almost entrenched. It's almost a part of our fabric, and it shouldn't be, but it is. And so because of that, whenever it comes time for us to elect leaders, we derive our leaders from this pool of poverty. Are you getting me? I'm going somewhere with this. Stick with me long enough and hear me out, and you'll know where I'm going with it. Let me say that again because I think it's important. Anytime we decide to elect officials to represent us, whether it's at national level, whether it's at, you know, parliamentary level, ward level, most of the people we elect come from this pool of poverty. And so consequently, whenever they're elected into office, and then all of a sudden they begin to drive cars they've never driven before. They begin to eat food that they've never eaten before. They begin to live in homes that they've never lived in before. It's almost like introducing a child. a hungry child who's never seen chocolates and sweets and hors d'oeuvres and desserts, and then you tell the child, this restaurant is now yours and you can do whatever the hell you want. Guess what's going to happen to that child? That child is going to run amok. That child is going to adopt the attitude, oh, I've arrived. And I better get while the getting's good. Do you know what that means when somebody says, get while the getting is good? It means this is the only opportunity you have now to amass personal wealth. If you allow this opportunity to slip through your fingers, it will never happen again. It will never come to you again. So do everything within your power right now to get all you can get. Get while the getting's good. And that's where most of our leaders find themselves wallowing in the cesspool of poverty. And then you put them in a situation where all of a sudden they have access to all this money. Now, I said all that to say this. Many of you know, it's been in the news. The DPP, the Director of Public Prosecution, wants Esther Lungu's flats. Okay, when I say flats, I'm talking about apartments, and Tassila's properties forfeited, meaning given up. You guys know the story. 15 double-story flats, 15 double-story apartment complexes belonging to the former First Lady, Mrs. Lungu, located in the State Lodge area, were built at a cost of approximately $2 million US. Now, that is a staggering amount of money, especially given the background of where the Lungus came from. All of a sudden, you're now over a course of 8 years, she built, according to the DPP, according to the DPP's report, that the Director of Public Prosecution, all of a sudden now she's been able to build properties worth over $2 million. Now, the DPP has also said that they want Tassila Lungu's property located in Sinda, over there in the Eastern Province. They want that property forfeited. Somebody may ask the question why. Well, according to the DPP, these properties that I've just mentioned, according to them, they are tainted, meaning they were corruptly acquired. Now, let me say this. Power attracts money. Whenever you're in a position of power, especially within the African context, whenever you become president and your wife is your wife, your position attracts power. And therefore, each one of us has to ask the question, would we be any different if we were in Esther Lungu's shoes or Edgar Lungu's shoes? And this is what we have to start grappling with as a country. Because Hakainde Hichilema is the exception to the rule. I can't think of one president who was self-sufficient at the level of Hakainde Hichilema. He's one of very few people. So after his term of office, of course, I'm not suggesting that rich people are not corrupt. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that here it is, you've got a leader who was self-made, who went into office for self-service. After his tenure of office, we have to worry that whoever we elect post HH, we will have to grapple with this reality. That's just the truth. We have to grapple. And I think it's time for us to change the way we elect leaders. Leaders should not come, I don't believe, in this dispensation. Of course, there was a time when that was. Dr. Kenneth Kaunda came from poverty. He ascended to power in the highest office in the land. But the thing is, that was a different time in history. That was a different dispensation. Moving forward, no pun intended, We as a people should change the way we elect leaders. You can't elect a person that is dirt poor and elect him as president. I don't believe in that. Not in this dispensation, not in this time frame. Moving forward, we need to begin to elect people of substance who have a heart for service, who have a mind for service, who have a drive for service. Now, let me tell you, let me bring this here. During the Vacaunda's era, the leadership code drew a distinction or a distinct line between service and personal enrichment. This was very serious during the KK days. Some of you don't even know this. Muri Kaunda, there was something called the leadership code. You couldn't amass wealth or you can be a business person and serve in government. It was, you chose one or the other. Of course, people still did it, but at least the code existed. It was there. I think to a degree, we need to reintroduce this code, the leadership code, to some degree in a new form. Because I'm telling you, this idea that you can be poor and become president is a misnomer. It doesn't, in 2023, it doesn't make sense. This is the reason why you've got all these chaps who are in trouble because they amassed wealth dubiously, ill-gotten gain, their properties are tainted. And how in the world you have somebody just wake up one morning and from nowhere they have 65 million kwacha in their bank account? How do you account for it? The report, according to the DPP, said they traced all of Tassila Lungu's earnings, all of the First Lady's earnings, and her ability to earn what she earned. None of it added up to the amount of money that she's worth today or that they're worth today. Why? Because you've got this situation where you've got people that are voted into office, you give them a blank check, they're surrounded by yes men. The system aids and abets their dubious ways, and nobody says anything. People only speak when the regime is removed. Everything I'm saying to you now, oh my goodness, I could never have said this during the PF. Are you kidding? Those kadas would have broken down my door by the time I got to this part of my broadcast. But it shouldn't be that way. And I worry for Zambia because honestly, really, this is the reason education is so important. We cannot wallow in the cesspool of poverty and ignorance. How much longer are we going to do that? We need to adopt the mindset that public officials, people that are elected into office, should be people of substance. You can't elect a president from a poor dirt person and say, no, he'll be president. God has chosen him. Well, God doesn't vote. You and I do. Are you hearing that? Goodness. Tell you what, got one more minute before the news. Let me read a couple of your comments. Okay. All right. I'm randomly picking. I don't know what he's saying. Hello, Johannesburg. Thank you. Okay. I'm trying to find a comment that you guys. I need comments. I need to read a comment that you guys are. I don't know what this means. What does this mean, Mr. Muewa? Don't you think some ask for the sake of asking because they're lazy? Yes, that's true. Most people are lazy, especially here in the city market area. They're lazy, but they'll ask you for money. It's a systemic problem. It really is. Guys, it's 19 hours. Thank you for watching. God bless you. You go run and tell that, and we'll see you tomorrow.